at Rikers Island. A new class of correction officers was sworn in this morning amid turmoil surrounding control of Rikers Island.
Now tonight, we're hearing from the correction commissioner for the first time, ever since a federal prosecutor suggested an outside authority takes control of the jail. News 4's Miles Miller has the story.
To the best of my ability.
128 recruits sworn into the New York City Correction Department today, the first step in the training academy before patrolling Rikers Island.
It is a career and responsibility, like I said, that few can do, but many think they know how it should be done.
These recruits are joining DOC at a time when the department is under fire. The U.S. Attorney for the Southern District, Damian Williams, said his office is pursuing contempt proceedings against the city after a federal monitor said the city hadn't met its obligations under a series of court orders pertaining to conditions inside. Williams said in a statement earlier this week, Rikers Island has been in crisis for years. This is a collective failure with deep roots spanning multiple mayoral administrations and DOC commissioners. But after 8 years of trying every tool in the toolkit, we cannot wait any longer for substantial progress to materialize. That is why my office will seek a court-appointed receiver to address the conditions on Rikers Island.
This department over decades, for many decades, has not received support, significant disinvestment that put us in a situation when we inherited this department in January of 2022, it was on the brink of collapse.
Rikers Island has been under federal oversight since 2015 after a class action lawsuit against the department regarding overuse of excessive force. Last year, 19 people died in Department of Correction custody.
So to the extent that they've stabilized in the past few months, they're stabilizing at a very high rate.
Judge Swain's rebuke of the Correction Department was stinging. These concerns raise questions as to whether defendant, DOC, are capable of safe and proper management of the jails. Indeed, these issues are serious, urgent, and call for specific responses and prompt, effective action by DOC. Both sides return to court next month. I'm Miles Miller, News 4, New York.
Rikers Island has died, marking the 7th death at the jail complex this year. 44-year-old Curtis Davis was found unresponsive in his cell around 5 this morning. He was pronounced dead about 30 minutes later. The medical examiner will now determine how he died. The deaths of Rikers detainees this year has sparked protests. CBS 2 investigator Tim McNicholas spoke with the Department of Correction commissioner last week.
I understand from many that their patience is wearing thin. But I would say there has to be an appreciation for the level of stabilization that we were able to do in the last 19 months.
The Southern District U.S. Attorney has recommended an outside authority take over Rikers. It's a decision that will ultimately be up to a judge.
Tragedy has occurred on Rikers Island. 44-year-old Curtis Davis has died while serving time at the jail. Well, News 12's Julia Joseph joins us now in studio with the very latest.
The Department of Corrections tells us that Davis was found unresponsive in his cell early this morning. Davis's death now marks the 4th death of an inmate in New York City jails this month alone, according to the Vierno Center. Officials tell us Davis received immediate medical attention upon being found, but was pronounced dead within minutes of receiving care. The DOC tells us the cause of death is unknown. The medical examiner still investigating how Davis died. Rikers Island, which often sparks much debate here in the city, has been under the microscope for quite some time. Davis's death comes less than a week after U.S. Attorney for the Southern District, Damian Williams, called for a federal receivership of the jail. And earlier this month, a report from a court-appointed monitor on the conditions of Rikers Island stating that there were thousands of violations distributed across all facilities from January to April of 2023. In response to the latest death, Janelle Roberts, a member of the Vierno Center for Equity, Health, and Justice, states in part, "People make mistakes in their lives, but they do not deserve to die. I don't care who you are, we are all equal. Black and brown communities deserve better. If this mayor is for the people, then he needs to take action immediately." The Federal Monitor report from April also stating that, quote, "real change has occurred since the action place was ordered by the court." The DOC confirmed with us that Davis's death is the 6th in custody death this year department-wide, while a 7th death did occur after an inmate was released on his own recognizance prior to passing away. For News 12, I'm Julia Joseph.
Inmate at Rikers Island has died, marking the 6th death at that jail complex this year. 44-year-old Curtis Davis was found unresponsive in his cell around 5 a.m. He was pronounced dead half an hour later. The medical examiner will now determine his cause of death.
Police chiefs and sheriffs from around northern Kentucky stood together. Strength in numbers, says Major Philip Ridgel from the Boone County Sheriff's Office.
We believe in getting the Campbell County Regional Juvenile Detention Center fully operational and open again.
That's where all juvenile offenders in northern Kentucky used to be sent. At the start of this year, though, Kentucky's Department of Juvenile Justice started sending the boys to Boyd County. Now the boys are being sent to Breathitt County. Girls are still being processed in Campbell County, but then sent to Boyd County.
What used to be a 25-minute drive from Burlington to Campbell County is now a 3-hour drive. This year so far, we have accumulated more than 4,000 miles between trips.
The DJJ says the changes were made due to critical staffing challenges at the Campbell County Center that threatened the safety of detainees and the staff. Kentucky Senator John Schickel says he doesn't find that acceptable.
We don't just close down a facility because we have shortages in personnel. Our police departments have shortages. Our schools have shortages. I know our dispatch center has shortages, but we find a way to keep them open.
Officers say the DJJ indicated it was its responsibility to transport the detainees, but Florence's police chief says it hasn't always been working out that way.
Meet at Campbell County. We'll have a transport for you down there. Your wait time is 3 hours on the lot for our transport team to get there. Well, I can drive halfway there and be done with it. So, why would I sit on a lot with a juvenile?
You're removing one of the deputies who was previously assigned to a beat, a subdivision, a neighborhood, and they are then on the road for a 6-hour round trip.
In addition to the strain it puts on the police force, Ridgel says it's also been hard on the families, who are already facing difficult situations. In Boone County, Sam Neff, Spectrum News.
Launching into DeKalb County with the aim to keep kids out of the court system. 11 Alive's Liza Lucas has more on the big hopes for this initiative.
It's a universal truth that's hard to talk about, but not talking about grief is what Chief Judge Fatima El-Amin believes brings many children to her courtroom.
Probably most of the children that we encounter in the court system have experienced significant loss.
Here at DeKalb County Juvenile Court, that loss often comes with layered trauma.
It goes from 2 babies that I have whose father killed their mother, then the 5 children whose parents are charged with killing their sibling.
The court system, a concentration of grieving kids.
We know that there are more than 200,000 grieving children in the state of Georgia.
Lisa Amon is executive director of Kate's Club.
Within the juvenile justice system, our best guess is between 20 and 25,000 children. It's a lot of kids.
Kids that Kate's Club knows how to help. The grief group joining DeKalb Juvenile Court in a new partnership to disrupt the grief to prison pipeline, knowing a child grieving alone carries significant risk.
Depression, anxiety. If the death was traumatic, then you have PTSD.
And without support, Judge El-Amin often sees young people make decisions, landing them right back here.
You cannot tell me that there's not a direct link between that enormous loss that they experienced.
But now, court staff learning to identify kids going through trauma with the plan to bring Kate's Club to the court.
So that these kids can learn how to first understand and then process and then articulate their grief in a healthy way.
A chance to heal and change lives.
One of the best ways to rehabilitate our children is to help them identify, voice, and then heal the grief that they are suffering from.
Judge El-Amin says she sees the link between hopelessness and crimes committed, but she has big hopes Kate's Club will make a difference. Right now, this is a pilot program in DeKalb with Kate's Club covering the cost.
The school system is taking that to heart to help prepare for the new school year. They're kicking things off with a back-to-school rally tomorrow morning. I sat down with the Deputy Superintendent of Student Intervention to talk about how they're using this event to support families before the first day. To kick off the 2023 school year, DeKalb County is creating a one-stop shop to prep for going back to school. Their annual back-to-school rally connects the community to resources so students feel confident walking in on day one.
You know, it takes a village to support families.
As a parent and longtime educator, Deputy Superintendent Dr. Keisha Towns understands the struggle. She says that's why DeKalb has created school district villages to help parents feel supported and make sure students get what they are. Deputy Superintendent Dr. Keisha Towns understands the struggle. She says that's why DeKalb has created school district villages to help parents feel supported and make sure students get what they need to be successful in school.
One of those is a resource village.
It provides information for parents with English language learners, students with disabilities, and information on transportation and nutrition. Their Health and Wellness Village offers health screenings, including mental health with mindfulness activities and optional COVID vaccinations. And thanks to the Village of Support in the community, they also have giveaways, including free school supplies, backpacks, and hygiene supplies.
We take a look at the whole child. We know that if a child's family isn't okay, that child may not be okay. So we're looking at a circle of care for the entire child.
Helping as many of the 94,000 DeKalb County students as they can before the first day on August 7th.
The importance of being prepared is to make sure our students are stress-free when they come to school. It's like doing the homework before you get to class.
Like registering your child now instead of the first day. The district expects 6,500 parents to show up at the rally tomorrow. The free school supplies are first come, first served. If you'd like to go, it's from 9 to 1 at Halford Stadium.